crap. I forgot the video.
What is up, Two Dudes Wolfpack? Welcome back to another episode of Two Dudes with Attitudes, a wrestling podcast. I am Mr. MWO, the Dude of Wrestle Talk, and with me, as always, is my Mister from another sister. We'll get it. We'll get it.
Well, one day, yeah.
I try to come up with something new every week, but it always fails. Mr. Shooting Star Press, the honorary dude. What's up, my man?
Oh, living the dream, man. It's Friday. It's almost the weekend. We got, it's raining here in North Carolina, so I'm trying
What's rain? I've never heard of it.
Yeah. You guys don't have that out in Cali, do you?
No, sir.
But yeah, everything there is still so green. I don't understand it. Like, how is it so green if there's no rain?
That's why we're in a drought 24/7, because we use the sprinkler system and keep everything green and going. Yeah. I mean, it rains like Northern California and such. And actually this year we did get a lot of rain. I think like this year in Southern California, we got like history. Didn't you see us? Weren't we on the news? I don't know. We got like the most rain ever. It was like 17 inches or 10 inches. I don't know. I don't pay attention, but we got a lot of rain. Yeah. So kept it green.
Nice.
Kept it green. Yeah.
That's what you got to do, right? You got to keep it green.
And we're like the state of fake grass as well. Like everybody has fake grass now. There's
nothing wrong with fake grass.
Real grass. I know I should do that in my backyard because my grass is like dead because we hit a drought again. My grass finally like came back together, and then I did the drought, and so I got rid of it, and now it's all dead again, and now the drought's over again, or it isn't. I don't know. I have no idea, but whatever. But yeah, it's AEW Friday, y'all. We are excited, not excited. We are awesome. Fridays are lovely because it leads us into the weekend, and yeah, man, a lot of stuff happened, and I just got back from the eye doctor because I'm 42 years old, and so when you hit 40 years old, your eyes start to go bloop to you, so I had to go get all sorts of that's weird now, man. It's like I'm so used to back in the days where it's like put a hand over your eye and like
read the letters.
Read off. No, I had like 7 different computers attached to my eyes today. It was like all like in a matter of 20 minutes. It took like 20 minutes. It was weird. Like follow this, do this. They showed me like my eye, like an X-ray. It was weird. They're like, this is how we find diabetes, and weird, man. So the future's here, Shooting Star Press. The future is here.
That's right. That's right. And some of it may be in AEW, the future of wrestling. So
let's see. Well, just like so you know, I do. And I have my red vines today, and I took the lid off so you don't have to say you're making all that noise for red vines. I think from now on, I will enjoy a few red vines every single podcast, and maybe red vines will finally,
you should. Yeah.
Who pays attention to red vines? Yeah. Come on, y'all. I'm your biggest fan. We'll get you going. Steve, what's going on, Steve?
Yeah. What's up, gentlemen?
Who is that? Who's Steve? I don't know. Well, you probably know him. Probably somewhere. It's different names.
He's on YouTube.
All right, Steve. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate it, my man. And the follow. I'm assuming if you found us right now. If you found us right now. But anyway, should we get into this?
Yeah, I think we probably should.
All right.
That's what we get paid for.
Yeah. That's what we get paid for. Let's do it. All right. AEW Friday, and we always start with Rampage. I crapped all over Rampage last week. I have no idea what you're going to say this week. I actually half enjoyed it. I thought they put in a good effort. They had some decent matches. Overall, I did think they did a good job. They also built storylines. We had Jungle Boy building his, title reign storyline. The JAS storyline, kind of. I guess they're douchebags. I don't know. We'll go into that segment. But, they had a lot of things going on, and they had Mark Briscoe come out and cut a promo, and they had, I'm trying to think off the top. I just felt like every segment at least was going somewhere. The thing with Rampage still is what I keep saying is that hour is quick, man. And when you're trying to get people on there because maybe you don't have enough time for them on Dynamite, it's tough to squeeze them all in an hour. So you have Jungle Boy have a 2-minute match, 3-minute match, and you have another guy have a 4-minute match just so you can kind of get everybody out there. I think that's what's hurting them more than anything. But I thought it was a good rebound from last week. But with all those pauses, I do got to talk about that JAS segment. For one, that new JAS segment, that new JAS shirt that Jericho was wearing is fire. I like the purple. I think it's super dope.
It is
I've always
cool.
liked the Jericho Appreciation Society. I need a Jericho Appreciation Society shirt. I actually dig the Jericho. I know they're lame or whatever, and some of them are wacky, like Crazy Steve and Magoo, whatever their names are. And then you got Garcia Guevara and whatever. But that segment, was it Dynamite? No, it was Dynamite where Jericho broke. When Hater talked about said his hat when they were all going around and he's like, I like my hat. And then Jericho was like, like couldn't keep it together.
That was pretty funny.
It was like an SNL, like, and he stood there too, like the whole time, like not leaving face, like trying to keep it together, because he was like,
it was great.
Matt Damon, like he just like yelled out, like, but they had like they come out and they do their thing, and these Impractical Joker guys, okay, Dynamite did this too, right? This is what we were talking about earlier with TK, is that I understand that you were on a network and you have to help build, right? We had Chucky every year for Halloween on NXT and so on. I get it. You have to do this. But I feel like AEW does this a lot. The Impractical Jokers are obviously on TNT, right? I think that's what network they're on or whatever. So let's bring these guys out here. But who truly knows who they are? Like, does the AEW fan base watch Impractical Jokers? Like, I didn't know who they were, honestly. And I'm assuming it's a show where they do pranks or something like that, kind of like maybe like a punked type of thing for all you oldies like me, but maybe not so much so. But I don't know, whatever. But they stole this spat that looks like a bat for Hornswoggle now, and Jericho wants it back. And instead of doing it himself, he has the Jericho Appreciation Society come out. They start to beat them up, and these poor guys had no chance. Like they weren't selling it. There was one point where the guy got clobbered, and then he picked up his glasses and casually put them back on. When they were going to slam him through the table, he was like in an awkward position. So Jericho like stopped them and like moved him up, so that way he was positioned better to barely land. I mean, he was set. It was awful. There was one point where Homeboy was choking him, and the bat was around his chest. And the camera, once again, AEW, with your camera angles, put it right on him when he was like, are you okay? Is this good? And the guy was like, yeah. And it's like, bros, like, we used to always have special guests back in the days, Attitude Era, like celebrities coming on, even recently. And they get the snub, but you don't warm, like AEW, like TK, you're not having them like get a warm up in beforehand in the ring or a run through or anything. Like it just, I feel like every time AEW has one of these people come on, it just looks really, really bad. But other than that, I thought Rampage was overall good. Bravo. But I had to bring up that JAS thing because it was awkward. And on to Dynamite, just really quick, because I was talking about the whole All-Star game thing too, where they were like, the Elite was supposed to wrestle or whatever. And they're like, we don't want to wrestle this week. We're watching the All-Star game. Ting! Like, don't want to miss that live action on TV, TNT. It was just so stupid. I'm like, what the?
They're bumping our show 3.5 hours. You know? But yeah, go watch the All-Star game. So,
to make it worth it.
Rampage is on tonight at that's like 6:30 or 6 o'clock Eastern or something, 7 o'clock maybe, I don't know, but yeah, because the All-Star tonight's like one of the All-Star games, and so they're bumping it. Yeah, it's like the 3-point shootout, or it's maybe the
that's
skills
tomorrow,
challenge.
right? I think Friday is like the rookie challenge, or something, right? Rookie sophomore game, and
but yeah, it's not enough to keep Rampage on at its 10 o'clock spot. So but I'll give Rampage a decent grade too. I thought, I like when they bring out all the stops for Rampage. You had Ruby Soho on there. You did
again storyline, right? Yes, moving.
You had the Blackpool Combat Club on there.
Yes.
You had your stars. You had Mark Briscoe, a cool promo from him. Building a story to Wednesday Dynamite. Jungle Boy doing his thing. So you got your stars on there, and then you had a title defense, and I think that's the perfect way. You should. I feel like there should always be at least one title defense on Rampage, and it was the Orange Cassidy defending the All Atlantic Championship finally after
they listen. I'm telling you, TK watches our podcast. I'm telling you, because I literally just said, why is Orange Cassidy not wrestling anymore? And he was here.
Yeah.
You had Hangman too there, right? Hangman was there also.
Hangman was there, and that set up their thing with Kip Sabian on Wednesday, because Kip Sabian took on the Blackpool Combat Club. So, yeah, I thought Rampage was a solid show. I like I said, I like it when they bring out all the stars. I like it when they, they try to make something happen. And the matches were pretty solid as well. So
I thought so. I agree. I agree. Anything stand out to you?
Other than what we talked about with the Jericho Appreciation Society, I think AEW, they're working with too many celebrities right now, and I think they need to focus on what they're doing instead of worrying about what the outside world is doing. You had Rick Ross on a few weeks ago, and that was bad. You have Jeff Jarrett stole the Grammy or the Emmy or the Golden Globe of the Hauser guy, and they're still doing that whole thing. And now you have the Impractical Jokers out there. You've had Shaq on there before. It's just too many celebrities. I think they need to focus on what they're doing. And if you're going to have them on, at least either up the production value a little bit and make it so it doesn't look so obvious that it's fake, or at least just, like you said, have them do a warm up beforehand. Have them go out there and rehearse things beforehand.
Right.
You know, the WWE did they had the celebrity guest host stuff all the time back in the late 2000s, and Hugh Jackman got into he punched Dolph Ziggler in the face, and it looked as stiff and as real as could be, and there was no fakeness to it. There was no stage. It was like, oh my, like, to me, that's what AEW needs to do if they're going to bring on celebrities. They don't either do it similar to that, or don't do it at all.
I agree.
But other than that, it was a good episode of Rampage.
I think it was. I actually will, which we'll get into. I thought it was better than Dynamite, and what went on in that show. But and like we said, the hour is short. That's the problem, right?
Yeah.
But they utilize the hour nicely, and I like that. Whether or not I believe in the storylines or I think they're good, they are at least doing their storylines, and they're kind of using Rampage. They stopped for a couple of weeks, but that's what they've been doing recently in the last couple of months, is that this is kind of their time to like get all these storylines kind of pushed out. All right, we got like 4 of these going on. Let's get all 4 kind of going, moving it, even the Acclaim came out at the end, right? So, I mean, which set up to AEW Dynamite. Like the Acclaim came out, and they didn't have that good of a pop, bro. I was a little worried. Everyone telling me that Steam wasn't going to get taken off their train, but they came out and it was kind of like meh. It was kind of meh to them. They didn't really feel, and it was a weird time to have them come back too, because it was like, you guys are still beefing with Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah, I thought that whole thing was odd. It was an odd. All of it was odd. I thought the pairing of the Acclaimed with Orange Cassidy and
we'll talk about
that was odd. I thought all of it was bad. Not bad, but just odd.
It was odd. Yeah. It just didn't feel. I was like, huh? I thought they were done with that, but it is what it is. And we were talking about this off record. We're not like detectives.
Breaking news. Yeah.
I said it was off record. But that I have to start taking AEW as it is. And you were kind of disagreeing, and maybe we can talk about that before we go into Dynamite, because a lot's going on in Dynamite. But, I'm a story guy, whether it's in the ring, whether it's outside of the ring. Like, wrestling is it's an entertainment, right? It's a show. It's something for me to watch and enjoy and to dive myself into. And you can't do that with just good matches. You need more than that. And I keep hoping that for AEW, and it's not coming, and it hasn't been coming. And they'll have 1 or 2 big storylines here and there, and then they disappear, or they'll have little ones like this whole "let's fight over Ruby Soho. She's mine. But they're not like these in-depth stories, and they're not all going to be bloodline storylines. And we can never have all blood. If every storyline was a bloodline storyline, then nothing would feel important, right? Just like if we had no sadness, you couldn't be happy. So, I mean, but I think I'm at the point now with AEW is that I just need to take it for what it's worth. This is what I'm going to get, and what they're giving me and what they want, I need to start seeing it in that way, because it's not going to be WWE, and it's not going to be the story driven. It's going to be, hey, every week we're going to give you a ton of good matches. We're going to have these guys bang and go at it, and we're going to pull them out of hats, and that's how we're going to match it up. That's just what we're going to do. Moxley's going to wrestle. Oh, I don't know. That one guy in the Dark Order today. Yay. That's just how it's going to be. So, So I think I just need to take it as that, and maybe I'll feel a little bit more loving towards them and not rip them every single AEW Friday. Because I truly am sick of being negative on the show, although Dynamite, we're about to go into this. But you get what I'm saying. Wrestling guy, what's going on? What do you think? Am I off before we jump on that Dynamite? Or
I think I think there's potential for AEW, but I think lately you're spot on. It just seems like the stories that they do have are just not as in depth, or they're not long term, or they're just they're there 1 week and then you don't see anything from them for 2 weeks, and then
Mhm.
they're there again and it's like, oh, okay, they're building, yay, they're back, and then they're gone for 2 weeks, and so
Mhm.
I think there is potential, and we'll talk a little bit about it when we get into Dynamite, because I do think there's some potential there, and hopefully things do get better. I thought this episode of Dynamite was a step up from the last couple,
Yeah,
but it still is missing something. Something's missing, and
it definitely yeah.
I think it's that story development and character development.
And I agree with you. There was something missing with this. So let's get into Dynamite. You already put it up there. So
Yep.
yeah, Dynamite. We were saying this. It wasn't like a awful episode. It wasn't like last week where I wanted to like throw up after watching it, but it just wasn't good. It was like an episode that happened, right? But they did try to push some storylines, and there were some things going on. But when you talk about long-term storytelling and how they end really quickly, let's talk about the Acclaimed. Okay, let's start with them. So they open up the show with Orange Cassidy, and I know it is a weird pairing, but you know what? I have to say it. I'm all for it, brother. Orange Cassidy is like my favorite. The Acclaimed and Billy are my I mean, it was like all of my good in one match. I was all for it. I have to give major props to a man that I always say I don't care about and don't love, but Jeff freaking Jarrett. I've never dogged him as a person. I've always said him as a human, I'm all for. It's him as a wrestler I just can't stand. But holy cow, to lose your father, whether you know what's coming, whether you don't know what's coming, whether you've said your goodbyes or not, to just straight, I mean, I've been giving major props to Mark Briscoe, which we're going to do again, and it's been like a couple months. This dude straight, was it like the night before, 2 nights before? I mean, this guy straight, came to wrestle.
Like 24 hours before.
Yeah, and he came and wrestled a match in a pointless 4-way match that he easily could have got out of, and they just could have had like Billy not wrestle and just Billy manage. And he said no, and he was smiling. He did his thing, and he even let Max Caster make a joke. Mm-hmm. Like, talk about, but you know what? His dad was all about the business, obviously. Jeff Jarrett was all about the business, and I think they're old school like Vince McMahon, where it's like, you know, if as long as it's for the show, as long as, you know, it must go on and whatever, business is business. But major props to Jeff Jarrett, and rest in peace to his father, because that is awful. We're losing a lot of wrestlers right now, and it's sad.
Very sad.
But with that said, the match was actually whatever. It was meh. But I did love the grouping of the Acclaimed. And I love that Orange Cassidy did the scissors, and then he was kind of like icky by it. He like did it, and then afterwards he was like he felt dirty. And I also like that they set up that he was going to do the scissors part, and then he got knocked over. But he was all for it, because he was like doing the little baby thing while like Max Caster was like thrusting the bananas out of him, and then he like got up there to do it. But it was good. I overall thought it was a fun match. Like, not all matches have to be 5-star bangers. They can be entertaining. You need that too, and that was one of them. And then the Gun Club stood up there for no reason, awkwardly watching, and they got no pop once again. No, this heat is going to be so big for them. Yeah, okay. Nobody cares about them, I'm telling you. And then they cut a backstage pre-recorded thing, which was okay. I get it. I mean, that was pretty good. They got to their point. But we find out that we are going to have a triple threat match for the AEW tag team titles. Then the Acclaimed interrupt and say, heck no, we get our rematch clause. So it's a 4-way. One, who are the other tag teams for one? I mean, you were saying maybe FTR is going to come back. Maybe they're going to add in Jarrett and Lethal again. But you're talking about story. That's the one thing when I was upset about the Acclaim losing and how I thought it was stupid. Every single person, from people on TikTok to people like Bully Ray and all these experts and non-experts and people with opinions, said, you have to let it get there. This is the build the story. The Acclaimed are better to be chasing for the titles, and this will build the Gun heat. And when the Acclaimed beat them again, it'll be that much more important. This does not look like that's where they're going. If you're building that story and trying to build a rivalry with the Guns and the Acclaimed and their dad, why put it in a 4-way? I don't see how any way this turns out well. If the Acclaim win, did they really get revenge? If the Guns win again, are they really building that heat with the Acclaim now? Because what if they pin somebody else or some? I don't get where this is another thing where, once again, where TK has like an idea, and then all of a sudden it just goes whoop to some other, like, you lose me. What? Am I missing something? I'm very confused with this. I maybe you can see something I can't.
No, the only thing I can see is maybe it protects both the Acclaimed and the Guns. So maybe they're not planning on taking the belts off of the Guns so far, but they don't want the Acclaimed to take the pinfall loss, so they're going to use a fatal 4-way to pin somebody else. But still, I don't like that. I think it's stupid. It's a stupid match to have. It should be, they even said the Acclaimed even said in their backstage promo that we're gonna cash in our rematch clause, and it's not going to be a fatal 4-way. It's not going to be a triple threat. It's going to be you guys versus us at Revolution, and that would have been fine. I would have loved that, a one-on-one standard tag team match, the way it should be. But now we're getting, I don't know who these new other tag teams are. It just feels like they're setting up for something for the Guns to be transitional champions, and maybe it's the return of FTR, and they're going to be the ones to come back. And they were feuding with the Guns before, and they've had their problems with the Acclaimed, so maybe they come back and take the belts off the Guns, and then the Acclaimed gets lost in the shuffle, or it's the Acclaimed against the Guns against FTR trying to go. But it just, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. It doesn't make any sense. I thought it was a fun match, and I like the pairing of Orange Cassidy and Dan.
We'll never get it again.
No, yeah. And the Acclaimed, I thought it was great. I thought all of it was great, but the end result, ending in a 4-way at Revolution, it's baffling to me why they're doing that. So
I just don't see a reason, right? And I know your reason, but I still don't see that. Like, why? Unless you're going to keep building the story, they claim then going to try again. But this is the pay-per-view. What do you do after that? Another Dynamite? Like, I'm confused.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm confused, and I'm curious to know who the other two tag teams are. I mean, there's not really a lot of tag teams in AEW at the moment.
That's what I'm saying.
Other than if I feel like they have to bring back FTR, and then who's the other one? I don't know.
Yeah,
is it Jarrett and Lethal? Is it? Are they going to build up that? Is it the Best Friends? I mean, I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
Agree.
It was bad. Let's talk now. Let's move on from the greatness of the Acclaimed and go on to. Let's see. Let's talk about. Let's talk about Jungle Boy and Brian Cage.
Okay.
I thought we talked about Jungle Boy on Rampage and how they're building to his championship reign. He's trying to get his first singles belt, and he's putting Jungle Hook behind him. But the big thing that I want to talk about, he had a great match with Brian Cage, and that stuff was teased on Rampage as well. So that was a cool thing they did on Rampage, to have Brian Cage come out and challenge Jungle Boy. And now Jungle Boy had a banger of a match with Brian Cage. But the big thing is Christian Cage is back, and there's some that rivalry's been going on since before All Out of last year, and they never even really had a match at All Out because Christian Cage tore his triceps, I think, like a week or two before, and they had Jungle Boy squash him or something. But or Luchasaurus squashed Jungle Boy. So there's an example right there of a story, but it's one, and we'll see what they do with it. We'll see how it goes. They brought Christian Cage back. He had the sling in his arm,
which was funny that he still had it like 75 months later.
I was like, he duped me a little bit too, because I was like, wait, man, like he still has a broken arm, like he's still, like he's. And then he took it off, and then he had like the little brace underneath.
And
that off too. It was funny, but no, I'm glad Christian Cage is back. And I've dug their rivalry. That's a story that goes back to a couple years, because they teamed together, they worked together with Christian Cage and Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy, and now they're going to be feuding. So I'm excited to see what they do. Hopefully it's good. Hopefully it's just make it a standard match. You don't need to do a death match. You don't need to do a ladder match. Or
they already have a Texas death match going on.
Yeah, you don't need to do anything no fatal 4-way. Don't bring Luchasaurus into this. Just have it a standard one-on-one match and give them 15-20 minutes and let them put on a clinic, because I think they will, and I think Jungle Boy's going to take that win. But I'm glad Christian Cage is back, and I hope they use him properly.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. It was nice to see Jungle Boy get a win. I like that he's doing the title thing all the time. People don't do that a lot. It's like he
No,
wants
yeah.
it. He's not picking a title. So is it going to be Orange Cassidy? Is it going to be Samoa Joe? Is it going to be, MJF? Like,
there's a lot of options for him.
Yeah, who's he going after, right? It's not going to be the tag teams, obviously. And obviously he can't team up with Hook anymore anyway, because Hook's in prison now or something. I don't know what happened to him, or I don't know. Race hate, I think, is what they were trying to go. Is that what they were doing? I don't know what it was. But anyway, different segment. But Jungle Boy, I liked seeing Christian back. I love Christian. I've always been a huge Christian fan. I am, to this day, my unpopular opinion, which I should bring that back on my TikTok and do this one, because I did it with Owen better than Brett. I've always thought Christian was better than Edge. I've always been a fan of his. I thought he never got the respect. And one of his best runs was when he did that with Randy, where he wanted to give one more match, and he kept it's like one of the best ever. Like in that time, that was like one of the best title feuds ever during that time. But yeah, I mean, I love him. I love that he took it off. I love that he beat him down, and I'm going to love when he gets beat, because Jungle Boy needs to beat him, obviously. I'm like you. I hope I'm okay with the stipulation. I just don't want them, excuse me, to bring in Luchasaurus. He's kind of disappeared, but he does have to come back. So are they going to do that again? But if they do that again, then you have to keep it going.
Yeah. Does Hook come in too? And
is that what
Christian Cage and Lucha?
And I don't know if that's happening. I think we just need to end it. So it needs to just be Christian versus Jungle Boy. Let Jungle Boy win. And then if Christian wants to get Luchasaurus and do that again, but I think Christian will start wrestling more. I think he still has it. He's in phenomenal shape. He doesn't look old at all. So, and I think this will be a good push. Jungle Boy can beat Christian at, the next pay-per-view, Revolution, right? And they can then, Jungle Boy can move on and pick that title that I think deserves, man. I mean, he gets a great pop. He's got a great theme song. He's great in the ring. And it's nice to see a scrawny dude, get some wins against some big guys. So I'm liking that too. Although Christian's not a big guy. So maybe he will have Luchasaurus. I don't know. We'll see. But he already beat Lucha. So I don't know. We'll figure that out. But good stuff.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was good. And, it's an example right there of a
long-term storytelling, right?
Long-term story, but just don't mess it up. Just let it write itself and let it do its thing. And
I agree.
You don't need to, this will be a great swerve. Let's make it a triple threat and get Jeff Jarrett in there somehow, or get Keith Lee in there. Yeah. It's just no, just leave it how it is. Don't, if it's not broken, don't fix it. And I think
100%.
I think Tony Khan gets in his own way sometimes. I think he thinks, oh, this isn't broken, but we could add this to it. Let's add this and sprinkle a little bit of this and sprinkle a little bit of that, and then it's just a big convoluted mess. So
I agree.
Just leave it alone. You got money. It's Christian Cage. It's Jungle Boy. You have a young star. He's one of the pillars of AEW. You have the seasoned WWE veteran, the seasoned veteran in Christian Cage. Just let it do its thing. Yeah. It'll be a huge moment for Jungle Boy. I
agree. And utilize that those packages that you have. You can show so many video packages like WWE does of the build up for them for the past year and a half.
Exactly.
So tell that damn story. WWE does that so well. AEW need to do that too.
And give them time at the pay-per-view too. You don't need to.
Yeah.
We don't need a 35-minute Texas death match, and this match goes on for 6 minutes. We need. I feel like this should probably get. We already have an hour-long Iron Man match. I think maybe this should get at least 15, 20 minutes as well.
Yeah.
Let them. Yeah. Give them some time to tell a good story in the ring as well.
Well, yeah, and the Texas death match between Mox and Hangman, who knows how long that's going to go.
Oh, my God.
But that segment was weird. But maybe you want to bring that one up. I want to bring up Adam Cole, baby. Yeah, I was really excited. You talked about how they were messing up with Adam Cole. They brought him back, then this and that. Then they set up this huge thing with Renee Paquette that they're going to do this great. Yeah. By the way, I'm kind of digging the Hangman Renee Paquette thing backstage. I don't know why. I think it's like real life animosity. I think it's funny that they're correlating the two. I thought Moxley was going to say something to him about it, like, hey, watch the way you talk to my wife, but he didn't. But I do like, because he's not being mean to her, but he's also like, you again, like, why are you always like, why does it have to be you? Like, stop interviewing
There's
me.
Another one.
Like, I bet you love this, right? Like, it's good
great
storytelling. I like it. But anyway, she interviews Adam Cole, and they were hyping it up on Rampage, gave us like a snippet. I was like stoked. What is it, like 2 minutes, 3 minutes? How long was that interview?
they posted it on their Twitter account, and I made a video about it on TikTok, thinking like we're gonna find out
Yeah.
we're gonna find out more about Adam Cole. And yeah,
No.
it
You
was
want to
2 minutes, and he didn't tell us anything.
it was like literally so so who do you want to wrestle when you come back? Not going to tell you. When are you going to come back? To be determined. Are you perfectly healthy? Healthy enough.
I don't know. Yeah.
Adam Cole, baby. The end. Thank you, Adam Cole. Like, what in the you had a segment, hyped up interview to literally do nothing. Like, learn from the Wardlow interview. Did you see the Wardlow interview?
Oh,
like,
the Wardlow interview was great.
Like, I don't know if you want to bring that up, but like then you follow that up with an Adam Cole interview that was literally pointless. What are we doing with Adam Cole? If he was not close to being ready, why bring I know LA, there was things missing, you needed to bring something. Then he should have said that. He should have said, I'm back and I'll be ready to go by Revolution, or I'll be back and at least something, because now it just seems tamed. It feels like when I went, that seems so long ago. I don't even remember going to that event anymore. Like, it seems
January
forever
11th.
ago.
Yeah, it was January the 11th, and here we are, just February 17th, and still nothing.
We've had one video package in this.
It's starting to feel a little bit like somebody in WWE who wrestled in a pitch black match, where he came back at Extreme Rules and really just had 3 months of no in-ring action, didn't do anything in the ring. And then he had a match against LA Knight at the Royal Rumble, and we haven't seen him since either. So, I mean, it's kind of losing its luster a little bit with Adam Cole. I was so pumped when he came back, and I'm still holding out some hope that maybe he is coming back sooner rather than later, and maybe it's going to build something after Revolution or what. But yeah, it's just the comeback in LA is starting to lose its luster a little bit, and it's unfortunate.
It is. And it was like the same thing when he came back the first time. Like, he came back to this huge pop, and you were like, dude, this guy should be a baby. Like, it's a huge pop. He's getting like a bigger applause than anity, right? I mean, his pop at LA was louder than the Acclaimed, and I think the Acclaimed get the biggest pop. So that thing was deafening. Like, I was there. It was like literally, you couldn't hear anything. My head was shaking. And when he came the first time, what did they do? They threw him with the Elite. People were confused on if he was a good guy or a bad guy. They didn't know how to cheer for him. He just kind of got lost in the shuffle. They did those stupid Brandon videos in the back, and
they turned on the Elite.
And then they turned on the Elite, and then he feuded with Hangman and basically got his ass kicked. And then he came back like a whiny baby and was like, oh, I need another match, bro. And then lost again. Like, they just took everything out of him. Like, he was such a star. He was so much better utilized in NXT. Not even WWE. In NXT, he was better utilized. Yeah. And he came, like, the Undisputed Era is one of the greatest factions ever. Top 10 easily, I think. Greatest factions ever, the Undisputed Era. And he comes and does this, and it's like a waste. And now I just feel like they're wasting. If you don't know what you're doing with him, release him. I don't know why people like, and I get he's still trying to hype up AEW, like every interview. This is where I need to be. I'm so happy. It's like what I've always said. If you know somebody and they post about how happy they are on Facebook, how much they love their wife and their kids and their jobs, they're lying. That's called a facade. If you have to write it and put it in public, it's probably not true. That's what Adam Cole is doing right now. I love AEW. Please don't fire me. That's what basically he's saying. So
yeah.
I don't know.
Or he's probably thinking, I've got 4 more years of this, and so I might as well make the best of it.
Yeah, they're not going to release me, so I might as well just suck it up.
Unless I badmouth the people at a press conference or something. But even then, they don't
even... even then You could you could badmouth, fight everything, and
but even I just. Adam Cole, and the weird thing, you brought up Undisputed Era. He had those guys with him in AEW as well. He had Kyle O'Reilly and he had Bobby Fish, and they weren't able to capitalize on it. And he's really, but he did win the Owen Hart Invitational, so we got to give credit to Adam Cole where credit's due. But I don't know. I'm ready for him to get back into the ring, or at least give us the next chapter of this story already. I think I
agree.
That's what we need. That's enough of these interviews or these backstage segments where he doesn't say anything or doesn't do anything. He's just, I'm happy to be here. I'm so glad to be back. We're glad to have you back too, but let's get you back in the ring.
I agree. All right. There's a lot of things that happen. What are you going to bring up next? What's your last thing?
You kind of talked about it a little bit, but I was going to bring up Wardlow, but I changed my mind. Let's talk about the Ruby Soho. because
let's do it.
this kind of feeds into what we were just talking about with Adam Cole. They hype up. We're going to hear from Adam Cole about the next steps of his career and his comeback, and then they don't tell us anything. And then with Ruby Soho, all night long, we're going to find out which side Ruby Soho is on. We're going to know what side she's on. Is she going to join Saraya and Toni Storm, or is she going to align with Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter? We'll find out tonight on AEW Dynamite. Picture in picture. And then
picture in picture.
And then the match happens, and Ruby Soho doesn't do anything. She doesn't choose anybody. She doesn't choose any sides, and the show cuts off. And Nick, we're watching slap challenge or whatever it's called, slap bet or whatever that
Dana White does to his wife.
Dana White show, yeah.
Whoops.
Yeah. And so it was just another big. You hype this all night. You hype this all night. You hype this all night, and then you don't give us anything. There's no delivery. There's nothing. And honestly, like, why are we fighting over Ruby Soho? I love Ruby Soho. I think she's great, but why are we fighting over her? I think the story is fine with Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter against Saraya and Toni Storm.
Yes.
Why do they need Ruby Soho? Why does either side need Ruby Soho? I don't understand it. And I mean, I don't know. I can't figure out what she brings to either team.
Well, she brings mediocrity for sure, at least in AEW standards, because that's like I get it. Well, for one, picture in picture, like everything is like, oh no, that's ESPN, but they do the stupid TNT music,
Yeah, every time they go to commercial, this match will continue in picture.
Yeah. By the way, does the Elite, are they like those guys that are like always ready to play a pickup ball game, like when they're driving by a park and they're like, oh shoot, the courts are empty, and they like pull up and they have a ball and basketball shorts on already? Like, why do they have basketballs on? Has that always been their thing? Have they or is that now an all-star? Like all of a sudden Kenny Omega is this like former high school like all-American like McDonald's whatever yada yada. He's like, I don't know what's happening with this.
I don't know what they're doing there. I feel like Kenny Omega has been doing that for a while though, because he'll have Justin Roberts introduce him, and he'll do the from North Carolina.
Yeah.
Which, like, he's not from North Carolina. He's from Canada.
I was about to say, isn't he Canadian?
Yeah, but that was the intro that they gave Michael Jordan when he came when he was on the Chicago Bulls. They'd be like, from North Carolina, Michael Jordan, and I think he's trying to replicate. So he's always, I guess it's his way of paying tribute, I guess, to the GOAT of the NBA, Michael Jordan, or what? I don't know, but
debatable.
That's been his thing for a little bit.
Yeah. But the basketball thing, like I said, they got challenged at a damn high school gym in Easium, so they are definitely hyping up this.
They're ready to go. They're ready to ball.
And they're excited for the All-Star weekend. So what does that say?
Do you think, before we get back to Ruby, do you think, like, if you and I teamed up on the hardwood, could we take the Young Bucks in basketball?
Heck yeah. I don't want to tell. Okay, so you don't know. So I'm 6'1", so I'm not small. 6'1", I'm about like 170 right now. I'm
5'11".
Okay, there you go. So that's only two. Yeah. So all right, so we got height for one. I think they're both like 5'8", 5'6". I mean, they'll come out as 6 foot, but that's a wrestling 6 foot. So secondly, I legitimately have played basketball my entire life. So I played from like 5 years old all the way until I graduated high school. I probably could have went to college, maybe, but my drive was done. By then I was only interested in women. So I stopped really with the sport thing. But yeah, so now I coach it. So I still have it like in my head. And I was a 3-point shooter. So I wouldn't have to drive on these guys. So their quickness would play no effect because I would just run off to the outside and just pop on them all day. And we would destroy them. I think we would definitely destroy them in a 2-1-2. I don't think it'd be close. I actually challenged them to a 2-1-2
Let's
against
do it.
us.
Yeah.
They're going to be out here, aren't they, in that Wrestle whatever? Aren't all these AEW guys? Let's do it.
Let's challenge them.
Let's do it. Young Bucks, I love you guys. Yeah. I'll bring a ball. I always have one in my car too because I coach. We can meet at any park around Crypto. They usually set them up like out front and stuff too. They'll do that sometimes for games.
Play shirts versus skins, whatever, however they want to do it. Yeah.
Heck yeah. They should probably be skins, but they look a little bit probably better shape.
I'll get him with the full court shooting star press.
Dude.
I'll hit him with the Ryan rollover, which, broke many an ankle like Kurt Angle.
Look at that. Don't break their ankles too bad, though. They still got to wrestle.
I don't want Tony Khan to sue me or something for breaking his baby's ankles. But
Kenny Omega could coach him. They can have that guy that sprays things around and everything. We can have it all. Yeah. We can do it all.
I do think if God, we're getting way off topic, but what's the guy the guy from TNA that comes with Kenny Omega? Who's that? The
spray guy, Callis?
No, Don Callis. Yeah. I think he'd make like a perfect coach in like a B-list Hollywood basketball movie.
He looks like one, doesn't he?
He does. He looks like the coach that's like trying to motivate his team to get to the championship.
That's what I mean. Everything reeks of them. Sorry, Ruby Soho. You finally got brought up on our show, and we're talking about basketball. And MWO is going to get a Meltzer driver at half court. Patrick Anthony says, "What the heck is a Meltzer? I have no idea. I hate Dave Meltzer. I don't know. Is this a thing? What's the Meltzer driver?
I don't know.
At half court, Patrick Anthony, you're going to have to." Rebound on this. That's great.
Yeah, we'll get back.
Patrick knows I can ball too. He knows I can play basketball.
I swear we'll get back to Ruby Soho. But I bet the Young Bucks. I bet they're cheap. I bet they get down. You play to 11. You got to win by 2, and they're down. 10-9, and they start like hacking you. They start fouling. They start like you go up for a layup, and they like throw you to the ground, and you're like, hey, that's a foul. Like, no, it's not. But then you like breathe on them wrong, and it's you fouled them.
That's their finishing move. For one, dweebs, you better watch it. Secondly, that's their finishing move.
Dudes wrong.
Yeah, they literally are called the Meltzer, and I've always liked the Young Bucks. Now I think I'm going to lose that. I think I'm done with them now. Their move is named the Meltzer Driver. Oh my gosh! Of course, too, because Dave Meltzer loves them and 5-stars them all day. They're probably the type of guys too that'll like flip over us and say it wasn't a travel. You know what I mean? With their like fancy
they'll take like 15 steps and it's the Euro step.
the Euro step. Anyway, back to Ruby. Yeah. I think we're gonna talk about, but challenge is up there. So if anybody knows the Young Bucks or the Young Bucks watch this, we challenge you to a game of 2-on-2. 2-on-2, let's go. Don't be afraid. You'll be out here during WrestleMania season, y'all. Right. Let's do this.
But yeah, back to Ruby. I still just why are we fighting over her?
I don't know.
She's okay.
Yeah,
she hasn't really. The thing is, she hasn't really done anything since she's been in AEW. Mm-hmm. So I just don't see why she would be an asset to either team. I get that they got to give her something, and maybe this is what they have for her, but I don't know. I'm not feeling this. And then again, just stop teasing that we're going to know for sure which side she's going to be on tonight. And then the match ends and the show goes off the air and we don't know which side she's on.
And the thing that I think I was getting at, I think you had said that right before we got into the 2-on-2, but we needed to kill time anyway. I needed to, I'm okay with it because she's like a half and half, right? But she wasn't treated good in WWE. So now she's here and those are her girls. But at the same time, she doesn't want to be known as that. So I like the story. I don't mind it. What I don't like is that we had like a literal match because that match, why did that main event? It wasn't for the number 1 contendership. It technically was it for Ruby? But she was in the match. So it wasn't. And Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter don't like Saraya and Toni Storm like at all. But whenever Ruby's in the middle, she's like telling them to stop. Like, stop fighting. Stop. Like, what do you mean stop fighting? It's not like we're friends here. And now you're like, let's just be friends. Like, I don't understand that part of it. Like, she's like, it literally ended with her like breaking them up. Like, I think it was it? No, maybe it was Hayter and Toni Storm, but she was like, was it Saraya? I don't know, but she's like pushing them in between, like, please stop, you guys, please stop fighting. I'm not worth it, or I am worth it. I don't know. It just seems really corny to me. I did not think that should have been the main event with all these matches you had going on. Why did you have that be? That could have easily have happened in the middle, and we got to the same point. I think sometimes Tony Khan doesn't understand what a main event is. I think he thinks main events are the first match of the night, and the first that's a first match. Like, your main events need to feel special. Your main event should always close the show to where you're wanting to know what happens next week. I don't think anybody ended with that going like, damn, I hope Ruby, like I was supposed to find out where Soho was going.
Yeah,
but
let me find out
week.
next.
I'm gonna find out. I can't wait. Like,
I agree. That's how I when it ended for me. I was, instead of thinking, man, I can't wait to see what she's going to do next week. I was thinking, why the hell did they tell us all night long that we were going to know, and then then they didn't tell us anything? Like,
no,
Tony Khan, you duped us again.
Tony Khan. But also, there's like how many women in AEW right now that aren't being utilized? Like, why not go get one of them? Like, why do you want Ruby? Like, if she don't want you, go. There's Serena Deeb. She's 1,000 times better than Ruby Soho. Go 100%. Get her. What the heck are you doing? There's women everywhere to have you join.
She would be perfect with both sides too. She would be, and I think she would make it a little bit more entertaining than Ruby Soho. And I don't want this to be a bag on Ruby Soho, but I just think
I love Ruby.
Serena Deeb would be perfect because she's also came from the WWE when she was in the Straight Edge Society, and she's also an AEW. She's an AEW original,
100%.
So
and she like trains and stuff. She trains these girls. Like that's someone you would want. And I would understand if they were fighting over like Hayter because she's the champ, or fighting over Britt Baker because she's like the face of the pillar. You know what I mean? Yes, correct. But you're fighting over Ruby Hill. I don't know. It was just weird way to end it. I agree with you fully, but overall, like I said, this Dynamite wasn't perfect, but it wasn't trash. It was what it was. They got to the point to where they needed to be. This was actually the first Rampage, honestly, where all the matches were like meh too. Usually all the matches are like B-A graded matches. I think all these matches were like C's. They all just kind of happened. None of them like stood out. None of them really to me. And I was just trying to think if there was any last thing we might have missed. I know the Wardlow thing, but MJF did. But he did the same thing. He came out. He was racist. Is that his new thing now? Being racist?
I guess. Yeah. Wherever location he's in, he's got to.
I'm surprised that's happening. I didn't like in today's day and age. I mean, I get humor, so I don't really care. I know when jokes are jokes, but I'm just surprised he's able to come out and like drop some like, and always against the Mexicans. He's always like dropping the no habla español. Like, what is he do when you're that white and you have a Burberry thing? You probably shouldn't be racist towards Mexicans, right? Like maybe pick another race. I don't know, but
And the thing about that segment too is how, like, I know MJF is supposed to be looked at as this guy who has all this money, but he's really been wasting it lately. He needs to get like with a financial advisor because he spent all this money on Brian Cage to break Bryan Danielson's arm. That didn't work. And then he spent all this. He apparently paid Christopher Daniels to come out and rip on Bryan Danielson to say that he's not the best wrestler in the world. He's not he's a scumbag, and he's everything is a facade. And Christopher Daniels would have gladly accepted, but then he turned around and bagged on MJF instead and praised Bryan Danielson. So
yes.
I mean, it was
that segment. Should we talk about that really quick?
Yeah, we can. Sure,
we got a few minutes. Yeah. I was so confused on that segment because, for one, we just talked about Christopher Daniels. Like, where did he, like, for one, come from? And now all of a sudden he's just like a main guy, and you're gonna pay this guy to talk. Wouldn't you, if you're gonna bring him out and do all that? Don't you think he would have the brains to at least think, okay, he's going through with it? Like you just said. I mean, it's like bananas to me. He didn't even like fake it. Like, oh, I got some dirt. Bryan Danielson once told me that you're a piece of garbage. I'm not telling you nothing. Like, it was just straight up like he walked out, took the money, and was like, I don't think so. He's a god. And now I'm going to ramble on for no freaking reason so Denton can fall asleep while he's watching this and be bored out of his damn mind. That's right. I said Denton. MWO, be bored out of his damn mind.
Yeah.
Like, it was like,
wall.
I did. Oops. It was like the boring. I was like, what is happening? Why are you doing this to MJF? He is better than the best in the world, and you know it. Are they running out of segments for him now? They're like, dude, you promo too much. So now we need to have Christopher Daniels promo for you because he's in catering.
I'm actually glad you're wearing that shirt because I forgot that used to be his saying.
Yeah.
Better than the best in the world. But the whole segment was Bryan Danielson thinks he's the best in the world, and to be the best in the world, you have to have the AEW championship. But wasn't MJF's whole thing about being better than the best in the world?
Yes.
It's just,
yes.
Yeah. I don't understand. I don't get it.
I don't either. And that segment just missed for me. Like, you got to get somebody else somebody else. What a wrestling guy. He was producing with TK and Gorilla. Is he talking about Christopher Daniels? And then he was like, oh, should I come out? Cool.
Yeah.
I'll come
he
out.
was one of the people, quote unquote, suspended for the brawl out in 2022 too. Christopher Daniels was.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He was one of the people that he like broke it up and got suspended. Yeah.
I didn't even know he was. All these backstage people I don't know about. So, but what's the point of all these backstage people if you're not going to have them help you write?
And he was on Rampage like 2 weeks ago wrestling.
That's what I mean. He
randomly,
Yes, it was so like now all of a sudden he's a thing. But that's what TK does. I know.
Yeah,
he's like, I got you for a week. I'm going to utilize the crap out of you.
Yeah, like he did it with Brian Cage recently. Like Brian Cage wasn't on Dynamite for like 3 weeks, and then all of a sudden. MJF pays him to break Bryan Danielson's arm. So now, okay, I got you on Dynamite. Now you're coming on Rampage. And you're going to be on Dynamite again next week. And then he's gone.
And then he's gone, just disappears. Yeah. That's and instead of doing that, why don't you utilize your actual talent who are there all the time? Stop using all your ROH people or your randoms or your backstage. Why not the Serena Deebs? Why not? There's so many people right now. Like, where the heck is Hobbs? Like, I mean, like, why are we not utilizing these people?
Book of Hobbs, and
I
like what they're doing with them, but again, they keep them off. And no Samoa Joe again this week. And last week we didn't have Wardlow. This week we don't have Samoa Joe. We did get a cool segment, and at least we got a little bit of character with Wardlow. So I'm excited to see what they do.
Yeah, that thing was great. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It was a great interview. It's probably the best Wardlow's ever done. So since his MJF days, but so all right, man, that was AEW weekend review. Let's see what Wrestling Guy's saying before we go into our segment. AEW roster too, it definitely is too big, but so is the WWE roster, and I feel like everybody gets a little bit of time, needs to split or go 3 hours, or they need to do 2 hours for each show instead of 3. Right? Let's do Rampage 2. And then do the split, like he says. Yeah, maybe that's what he means by the split. But I agree, man. When WWE did the split, everyone got mad, but that was the point of it, right? That was like the point of the split, so you can utilize these people more often, once a week. We don't need to see people twice a week. It's okay to have them once a week. Make Rampage a show, make Dynamite a show. I don't know why they haven't thought about that yet. And it won't be like, oh, you're copying WWE. It's just how to utilize your talent. It makes sense. And then you have ROH. So now you have 3 groups, just like NXT. That'll be your NXT, SmackDown, and Raw. Just do it, TK. Do it. Do it now. You're watching. Do it now. And I know Young Bucks are watching. You're shaking in your damn boots because you don't want this basketball match.
That's right. That's right. They don't want it.
They don't want none.
I wonder if we'll get a response.
Yeah. Whose theme is that? You don't want none. They don't want none. They don't want none.
Mark Henry?
Was it Mark Henry? Dang.
No, AJ Styles.
AJ Styles.
Yeah, that's who it was.
Never mind. WWE doesn't utilize talent. He hasn't been on so long. I forgot who the heck he was.
He's hurt. Yeah.
Is he hurt? Okay.
Yeah, he broke his ankle at like a house show.
Dang. That's right. I saw. That's right. All right. It's time for segment, right? Let's do the segment. Now, we went from like being under time to now we're going to be over. That's us. That's us. So we have a new segment today. What is it called, my man? What is our new segment called?
It is called That's Cool, That's Not Cool. So,
yes.
Yeah, we're gonna take certain scenarios that we want to see happen in AEW, and then the other one's gonna pick if that's cool or if that's not cool. And we have a special guest to tell us if that's cool or not cool.
That's not cool.
And then there's
that's cool.
For those of you that don't know, that is Carlito, probably one of the coolest people ever. I spit in the 100%. Face the people who aren't cool. Like, that guy was so cool that he would legit bite into an apple and spit it in your face because you weren't cool enough. Like, that's how disgusted he was by people not being cool. So, yeah. So let's get into it. So this segment is basically going to be me and Shooting Star pitching ideas to each other. We'll do as many as we can. And we will decide if it's cool or not cool. And it's all AEW. So, and by the way, I just want you guys to know, basically 99.9% of these segments are created by Shooting Star Press. So if any of you think I'm talented, I'm not. I've come up with unpopular opinion and book it or lose it. That's about as far as I can. Oh, and WWE did what? Those are like the only 3 my brain can comprehend for anything of creativity. So it's been all Shooting Star Press, just so you guys know.
Yeah, well, I'm creative for this, but come TikTok, I'm like, my mind goes blank. So, yeah, I'm like, what can I do for TikTok this week? And I have nothing. So.
All I do is duet Selena Vega, so don't feel too bad. All
She'll follow you one day.
Will she? I don't know. She seems to hate me. Let's see. She hasn't blocked me yet, so that means she doesn't know who I exist yet. So that's a positive. All right, let's get this show on the road. What do you got first for that's cool or that's not cool?
All right, here we go. So we saw a little bit of a weird vignette promo thing on Dynamite with our boys Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Murphy.
Mm-hmm.
There looks like they're also laying down the gauntlet and throwing down a challenge to the Elite. But this one's not for basketball. This one is for it looks like they're going to be having a match maybe at Revolution. Mm-hmm. So the House of Black looks like they moved on from Eddie Kingston too, which is, okay. But
we were just talking about it though, like a day ago. So continue.
But yeah, House of Black should 100% take the Trios Championships off of the Elite. Is that cool or is that not cool?
Oh man. And this is going to be at Revolution?
Yes.
Ooh, that's like what, like a couple weeks away?
Yeah.
Has the Elite had it long enough? They've already 2-time champions. But the House of Black is freaking fire. Although they haven't been talked about a little bit, but they are so fire. This is the best they've ever been. I'm going to say that's cool. That's cool.
That's cool.
I got to go with that's cool. I got to go. AEW likes dropping titles for no reason anyway. Look at the Acclaimed and the TNT title. So if they're going to do it, might as well do it if they're going to give Black. I don't want to see the House of Black challenge and lose. So I'm going to for sure say that's cool. Yes.
Yeah, I agree. Sir. And I think it's a good restart for House of Black. You kind of fumbled the ball with them the first time around, and now they're doing what a lot of us wanted them to do, going after the Trios Championship, and you're going to see Malachi Black and Kenny Omega in a ring together. It should be money. It should be fire, and hopefully they do Malachi Black right this time around. So
I agree.
If you're not going to put him in the world title picture, you're not going to put him in a singles title picture, you're not going to put him in a tag team picture. Trios is the perfect spot for him.
Perfect. I agree. And I think Kenny Omega needs to go solo again anyway. And I think, and like we said, we need more tag teams. So let's bring the Young Bucks back. They don't need to win the titles, but they can at least enhance people. So yeah. All right. You ready for this one?
Yep. Let's do it.
My boy, Orange Cassidy, right? He has been doing his thing this year. And I truly think he is by far the best champion in AEW, especially now since the Acclaimed have lost it. I think he's money right now. So, cool or not cool, Orange Cassidy keeps his championship all of 2023. Is that cool or is that not cool?
That's cool.
Oh, you like it.
I like that. I do. I like that. He's made that championship great. He's actually defending it regularly or semi-regularly now. Hopefully he goes back to regularly. And yeah, I mean, he's defended it more than Pac ever did. And I think AEW could really benefit from a long championship reign from somebody. We just talked about the Elite dropping their trios championships already. MJF is probably, he may not have the championship much longer. Who knows what's going to happen? We did have Kenny Omega have the title for quite a while, the world title, but they play hot potato with the tag team championships. They're playing hot potato with the TNT championship. I think AEW could really benefit, especially a new championship like the All Atlantic. I think it could really benefit from a long, lengthy reign. And I think the fans dig Orange Cassidy, and I think they get behind him, and I think he can bring some prestige to it. So, give him a year reign. Give him a year reign. Let him hold it for all of 2023.
Still 10 more months, but I think I just like it because I agree with you. I think they drop him too much. I think the only champion they've really had, solo champion, that's been of importance since Kenny Omega, I think that includes Mox and Jericho, and I just don't think their title reigns felt important. I just think they were just title reigns. I think his has felt important. The TNT hasn't felt important. Tag team titles, they've had a couple important. They felt important, but then they all die out quickly. So yeah. I think it's cool. All right.
And don't forget about Jade Cargill too, holding the TBS championship for a while too. I think
what? You're okay. There is Jade Cargill and hers, and she's probably going to hold it for another. I don't see her losing it until she starts wrestling main people.
Yeah. But so, I think it's cool to have two champions with long-term reigns. WWE's doing that,
with their IC in the US and Yeah.
And Bianca Belair's
And
held the
Bianca
title for a
Belair.
year. Yeah, Roman Reigns has held it for 900 days. The Usos have had their championships for a while. So
when done right, it works. And I think Orange Cassidy and Jade Cargill are the only two right now that is working. It works.
Yeah,
like they don't need to lose it. It's not boring either, like Bianca. So they're not there yet. So, all right, got another. Let's keep them going.
Yeah,
we got time.
All right, so our boy Adam Cole. We just talked about him.
Yeah,
Adam Cole should be the one to end MJF's AEW World Championship reign later this year.
You want him to be the 1 and 21-1. Let me see. That's hard because I want to say it's cool, but at the same time, they're just not using him right. Are they okay? I'm gonna picture that they're booking him right. He's gonna beat a couple people, maybe a hangman. I'm gonna say that's cool. Cool.
That's cool.
I don't see anybody else doing it. I actually had somebody too that I was maybe going to bring up about defeating MJF, but I think it's the more logical. If Tony Khan is going to make a smart decision and do what he needs to do, I think Adam Cole is that guy. He's the babyface coming in. MJF's the ultimate heel. It's believable if he beats him. Then Adam Cole can kind of have a little bit of a run. I don't want it to be Omega again or Hangman again. Obviously not Moxley, and I don't see Orange Cassidy being there. The only other person I can honestly see right now is Wardlow, and especially because sometimes TK likes to go back to those storylines. So could I see Wardlow jumping in line, especially after that interview we had? Maybe. But either way, I would say both of them are cool. So I'll go with that.
Yeah,
cool. That's cool.
And don't forget too, Wardlow. Last time he faced MJF, he beat the hell out of him.
That's an understatement.
Squashed him completely.
Legit squash match.
Yeah, big time. And I would maybe throw Ricky Starks in there too. I think if he could be a good. But again, he's not being used properly right now. Stuck in this fight over. He just beat Chris Jericho, but he has to earn a match against Chris Jericho.
Is he still trying to earn it? Because now Jericho was like, "No chance. You're not earning nothing."
Yeah,
so I don't know what
you're doing.
Yeah, neither. Neither. All right, we'll go one more, huh? My last one. I have a couple. All right, I'm going to go with this one. Britt Baker, during all of this thing, eventually turns on Hayter, joining Tony Storm and Paige. So not Ruby. So Ruby will get kicked out. Maybe she'll join Hayter. Britt Baker turns on Hayter, joins Tony Storm and Paige, and she becomes the Hulk Hogan to their NWO, because that's what they're doing, right? They're coming here to take over. Yeah. She's the main person in AEW. She turns and becomes that Hulk Hogan to their wolf pack.
That's actually good. That's good. Oh man, that's tough. All right,
That's not cool.
I don't think.
All right. We needed one. That's why I picked this one. I thought you might say that.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea, but I just don't think AEW thinks that far ahead. I don't think I think they kind of do things spur of the moment, and I do think it's a really good idea, but I just don't see it happening. I think Britt Baker, if anything, I think she's going to stay a babyface because that's the one thing that she really hasn't done in her career in AEW, especially if who knows what they're going to do with Adam Cole. I know that, if they're going to bring their relationship up in public again, if they're going to, Adam Cole's mentioned her several times he even mentioned her in his promo in LA. So if he's going to be a babyface, then it makes sense that she remains a babyface as well. Where you can't, it doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, to have a babyface boyfriend and a heel girlfriend, but you can't have that. Yeah. So that's just that. But yeah, I think other than that, I think it's a good idea.
All right. Right on. And that concludes our first ever. That's not cool. That's cool.
Yeah. I'm trying to see if I can get it. Here we go. Because that segment was cool.
It was. That was a good segment. Might be my new favorite. I like it.
Yeah,
I like it. Good job. All right, everybody. Two dudes with attitudes. Wolfpack, what's up, man? We appreciate you guys for tuning in. I know this was a random time, so not everybody is here live, but we'll probably see you on the recaps and everything. And we are 100% hoping to do a watch along tomorrow. So if you're watching this, tune in unless something happens. And I can't because it's President's Day weekend and my family wants to do things. But I am banking and hoping that I can still do that and we can be there live. We had fun last time. So hopefully we can be live this time, have some drinks, have some talks, make some jokes, talk about wrestling the whole time, have some fun with it. So
should be a fun night too.
It should. Yeah. Big stuff going on. Who knows where we're going with this? This is like one of the most unpredictable nights again. But once again, I have to say, with Elimination Chamber coming up, it's going to be the same thing as Royal Rumble. Everybody right now is like, is Sammy going to win? Is Roman going to win? Is somebody going to interfere? Is Jay going to come? I guarantee you right now that whatever happens, everybody's going to say it was predictable.
Oh, we saw
obviously Roman was going to win. Obviously Sammy was going to win. Obviously Jay was going to interfere. It's going to be so obvious once it all happens.
Of course.
So remember that,
because wrestling fans are fickle.
Yes, they are. Fickle.
That's right.
But anyway, all right, man. As always, I'm Mr. MWO, the dude of Wrestle Talk. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. And with me, as always,
is Mr. Shooting Star Press, SSP. Young Bucks, you guys have been challenged to a game of 2-on-2 hoops, first to 11, win by 2. No, play by ones
rules. Yeah. I like it.
Play by ones. Yeah, threes are count as twos. Yeah, that's how we do things down here.
Winner takes out. Winner gets ball. All right,
make it take it.
Yeah, make it take it. Let's do this.
But yeah, everybody go follow us. Go subscribe. Go hit us up. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitch, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple, we're on Google, we're on iHeartRadio, we're on all the places where you get your podcasts. Yeah. So go rate us, go review us, go follow us, go subscribe. And again, come along with us. We hopefully will be going live tomorrow night for the Elimination Chamber, and you'll get 3 days in a row of two dudes with attitudes. Which you can't go wrong with that.
No way. No way. Not at all. All right, man. Thank you for tuning in, y'all. Peace out.
All right, everybody.